Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. You know that vibe. Dumb moves and keyways. Remember, this is Wednesday, man. Y'all go ahead and put this in your book, man. Go apply this shit for real. Apply it, man. Remember, if you play small, you'll stay small. It's okay to want more, do more, and be more. Go on and apply that shit, man. Wisdom Wednesday. Professor Melly Mail. I'm finna get into it, man. I got two of my loved ones I got to talk about today because I can't never say enough of certain loved ones that belong to that, that notorious S tribe. That notorious S tribe. But nonetheless, let's get to it. Today I'm going to talk about specifically Mondo and Gangsta. Baby. I first laid eyes on them two, man, like in the 70s, you know what I mean? That's when they was coming up, you know what I mean? And when I first laid eyes on Gangsta, my thoughts of him were like, this guy kind of reminded me of Roddy. He reminded me of Fred Benson because he had that ferociousness, because Roddy was real fearless. Didn't fear nothing. He wasn't scared of nothing. He was just fearless, you know what I mean? And Gangsta had that kind of persona as well as him. He carried himself like a Fred Benson, suave, smooth, stayed G'd up, just all the way G'd up, you know what I mean? Mondo, on the other hand, I laid eyes, especially as he done that little magazine thing. I think it was called Bandana Wars. And this was all done in the 70s, you know what I mean? This was, when we was all relatively on the streets doing that thing. Turtle, you know what I mean? Bebop, Jacko, Sleep Hudson, Kizzy, just to name a few, Willow Rated, Settle Rated, just a host of homies, you know what I mean? I'm just naming a few because there's so many I can't get them. If I didn't add your name, no worries, man. You know I love you, and I got you in my heart, man. My boy Big Bus Count and his cousin Rick Rock, you know what I mean? But anyway, let me get back to the story. So Gangsta was always G'd up, you know what I mean? We would always, we would hit the workshop, we would hit the hut, the canteen, Bateman's Hall, let's see, what was some of the other ones? Alpine Village, of course, that came a little later on after the hut, the canteen, Bateman Hall, and the workshop. Workshop probably was one of our favorites. And we even used to wind up at Eve After Dark, you know what I mean? So those were some of the places that we were seeing because we felt like at that time, and you got to give it to us, man, we were like, we put Compton on our back, literally. You know what I mean? We felt like we were the protectors of the whole city of Compton at that time. All the tribes got along. There was no distinction. There was no big odd little U's. We just took up the front, and we had that. You know what I mean? And to prove that, Gangsta and Mondo both attended Davis Junior High. And you would see them all together all the time, even to the degree they was on the beach cruiser. One be pumping the other, one on the handlebars, the other one pumping, you know what I mean? And this went all the way, you know what I mean, up into the 80s until, when Gangsta got his foe and Mondo got his car, you know what I mean? So it's just, a transition of boyhood to manhood. And they did it pretty quick, so I just want to, get that out there about them two, you know what I mean, and explain how the camaraderie, the familiarity, the brotherhood those two had. They were really, really, really close. And to prove that, I'm going to give you this story, and I'm going to continue to tell the story until you guys really home in on the points of which I'm making. So it was around about 80, 81, 82. I think Mondo got arrested first. He went in, he was in the YA, and then Gangster, he got arrested secondly, and then while Turtle and myself and others and all of the homies, countless of homies, once again, don't want to name all them people because it's just entirely too many to name. We were putting that foundation together on how we was going to, create an economy within the neighborhood that would help everybody be part of something. You know what I mean? Everybody would have an integral part, and it would help every individual that was part of the Santana family, earn. And, you could say it was ran like quite well, and it was efficient, it was fluent, and nobody was left out, no matter what your status was in that family. So before Gangster get arrested, though, it was maybe about 81, 82, 80, I think, believe. Turtle was in at that time. And what happened, Norman Gibbs from the pocket gets killed over there, right, by the canal coming from Centennial High, coming back, because he had to go through the canal and then walk through the front hood, then walk to the pocket. So he was killed right there. All of a sudden lost his young life, and we was very upset about that. So we formed an alliance with the front hood and the corner pocket, of course, and we became the front tenant. You know, of course, the corner pockets was there, even the Carver Parks, and we were attempting to walk to the west side, and we was going to deal with that situation and that circumstance, you know. And what happened was that I was in my Grand Prix, my black Grand. Baby Gangster was in the red apple, candy apple 5, the one that he had bought from, I believe, Rod Parker. He bought it. And Cole, you know what I mean? So we both had our cars, and I think Eddie Gangster had his Monte Carlo and other homies, you know what I mean? So we had homies on bicycles, we had homies walking, we had homies sitting on top of the cars, and we could caravan over there. We met up over there, and just, man, police just came from everywhere, swarmed us, and, you know, basically made us return back to our neighborhood and turned us down, you know what I mean? But that was just one incident where I could proof and point to where we took up, no matter what set it was. If they had a problem with outside of the, you know what I mean? Because what you got to understand, if I'm from Santana, my first name is Santana, my last name is Crip, and I got that from Bam, my boy Bam. If your first name is Front Hood, your last name is Crip. So that made us all brothers, because that means we all came from one circumstance, one situation, one father. You understand? And I'm just putting it in terms of where you can understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So that was the camaraderie, that was the brotherhood back then. If you was from Mona Park, Crip was behind there, then you was part of that. You understand? If you was from Kelly Park, it don't matter. You was a part of that. So I just want you to understand where I'm going with that. So we formed that alliance, man, and went over there, and we was gonna deal with that circumstance, that Fontana thing. You know what I mean? But you know, it got derailed. We felt like we were protectors of the neighborhood. And Baby Gangster, man, this is when he really began to shine through. You know what I mean? And really establish himself as part of the leadership and lead in a way that where people can follow. Not necessarily that he was a leader or the leader, but he demonstrated those attributes to where people can follow. You understand? Because he come up under you know, of course he come up under T, and then Killer Wayne and some of the other ones I named, like Roddy and Fred Benson. So he had a lot of teachings. He had a lot of people that he can watch and examine to show, you know, how he felt like it should be carried, and he put his own unique touch to it. And Mondo the same way. Mondo came up under all these individuals and everything. But anyway, so Mondo gets out first. It's like, I believe it's like 83. He gets out, man. He back on the beach cruise. They got the curlers in his head. He pumping the bicycle. You know what I mean? And he trying to figure his way out. He running around. He dipping them sticks and everything, climbing, but steady climbing, steady getting his money, stacking. He bought him a blue 66 Chevy, which later on he gave it to Twin. He gave it to Twin. Rest in peace, Angelo. He gave it to him later on. But that was like his first ride right there. And then eventually we all put our heads together. We got in that lab, and we put that unique situation together, man, where we had, like, let's see, 1, 2, maybe like Acacia, Rose, Willow, 3 on Spring, White. So maybe about 6 or 7 spots, which I would refer to today as trap houses. They was, I mean, I'm talking about pumping 30, 40. You know what I mean? Sometimes a day. You know what I mean? This was going on. So when Gangster steps out, he steps out into a whole nother reality. You know what I mean? Because he's been away at YA. He steps out, man, and he see this thing running. I'm sure, you know, he may not say it, but at the time, he had to know, man. He was blown away by everything, the operation, the money, and the level we was getting money on. You know what I mean? So he dove right in. He got right into it, man. You know, Mondo blessed him with, bought him a Brougham, you know what I mean, and bought him every lowrider he want, you know what I mean. And just because you got to understand, the brotherhood they had was really, 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 really close. You know, really close. And with Gangsta, I'm got to tell you this, man. A lot of people try to argue this point, but they can't argue this point. He was the first baby gangster, so he created the term BGs. He created that term. He made that a household name. BGs was created by Frederick James Stay, baby, aka Baby Gangster, G, or whatever you prefer to call him. He done that. Secondly, he created a select elite force within the Santanas. It was called the G-Force. I can't give you the names of the G-Force because it was a select elite few. And if I gave you the names, you know, it wouldn't be right. So I'm not going to name those individuals, but I will say this about them. Thompsons, Chicago typewriters is what they call it, but Thompsons, submachine guns, Uzis were their tools. Fatigues, Army fatigues. We ran that thing like it was like a special unit within it, and we felt, not that we felt, but it was what we did. You understand? It wasn't about what we feel, because we think. We don't feel, we think. We think and know. So that was the difference. You can't be feeling, because women have feeling, men think and know. So let me correct myself on that. So we created that. He created that elite select few. Was called the G-Force. That was people involved in some certain things that I'm not going to speak about, but I will, however, put the name out there so you'll know, because this what gave us the empowered us to do certain things on levels that other neighborhoods wasn't doing. I'm just giving you the facts, whether you want to refute or refuse to believe what I'm telling you, but I'm telling you what I know. And that's that. It's not what I feel, it's what I know. It's what I know and think. Okay, so once that was established, so Gangsta and Mondo, once again, back, it's almost like they back on that beach cruiser, pumping up and down the street and doing their thing, you know what I mean? So G, he really elevated and escalated in that world in a way that most would not have survived, because of his audacity, his bodaciousness, and his ability to just, you know, challenge any circumstance in any situation. You know what I mean? And Mondo was right there by his side, hand in hand. You know what I mean? So I just want to, you know, highlight these things about these individuals and show you that, man, it was a great responsibility on them, because you got to understand, man, they had to handle some people, and I'm talking about some personality that was Big Buzz, Count, Rick Rock, there was Magoo, let's see, Little, Gertchie, Rat, you know, Scrunchy, you know, Bruno, Rick Rock. There was a couple of Rick Rocks, you know what I mean? But yeah, and J-Dog and Pep and Perry, Hub, you know what I mean? But Hub was in, and Hub and T-Wee were both in YA at that time. But yeah, so, and Jack Off Sleep was away, Bebop was away. They was all locked up. Bay Rob was locked up. Then you had Cookie Man, which is Ken. He was out. Bullet was resting in peace. So it just imagine all these personalities, and you got to be the one to kind of give them some guidance and direction. You know what I mean? So I believe that reason why I'm doing this video today is because I believe that we owe a great deal of gratitude to Gangsta and Mondo for how they did that. They did it quite well, and I'll be the first to acknowledge either one of them. I know some people may feel different, but that's, you know what I mean, that's just their opinion, and I got mine. So here's why we're here today, you know what I mean? So I talk about the G-Force, the select elite crew. I talk about Baby Gangsta creating the Baby Gangsters, you know what I mean? And he became, man, so well with that low riding, man. He built, let me see, the last time he built about 12, it was about at least 8 or 9 different low riders, man. That man could build some cars. I mean, of course he had Doc and Dogface, you know what I mean? Put the throw every nut and bolts in a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and then take them all out and put them back in the car and don't miss one bolt. You know what I mean? That's just how perfect he was. And Doc was just immaculate with his paint. You know what I mean? And then also you got my homie Twin. When he comes around, everything gets a little turned up too, because nothing but the Twin. Compton crib, bust your lid. That's how Twin lived. You know what I mean? And I just want to share that story with you. You know what I mean? And I apologize because sometimes I'll be wanting to go a lot further in the detail in the story, but I can't because I don't want to, put nobody in a predicament or circumstance that they would not want to be at this time, because everybody right now is living really, really great, living positive lives, working, doing things with the community, being a community activist. Gangster is a community activist. He even wants to create a museum for memorabilia, for Crip memorabilia and blood. It'll be like a museum for both Damus and Kiwis, you know what I mean, where people bring memorabilia back from the 70s all the way, even if you got it from 69 all the way up, you know what I mean? So I think he wanted to do the reality show. So he got a lot of things going, and Mondo is also doing a lot of things in his life, you know what I mean, on the because he was a genius himself, because me and him would sit at night and we would talk, and you know what I mean, we would figure things out on how to do on the on the cocaine side of the game. We figured out a lot of things about it and did a lot of things with it, and right to this day I tease Mondo, man, he turned his secret weapon on the other cats. I was the secret weapon to a lot of how we processed our situation over there, you know what I mean, and develop our skills for making it, pumping it out a lot faster than most people could. We pumped it out really, really well, and there was never a day we was down, you know what I mean, during those times. And you got to know this, during this time, there was cocaine. It was crack came out around about 86, I believe, when, but that was all media and law enforcement deemed it and termed it that, because they needed something to call it something different. Because if you're trying to shop for a bigger venue to give people to incarcerate more people and incarcerate them for a particular reason, they had to make the cocaine seem different and be and make sure that it took another form versus the one that it was in, you know what I mean? But it was still cocaine, so they started calling it all this ridiculous name, but all it was baking soda and water, so in powder. So how was it different? The pharmacology of it was still the same. The pathology, it was still, the process was still the same, and how it interacted people's enzymes was quite the same. It just one you could do intravenous, one you could snort, and the other one you smoke. So it was still the same thing, but they mixed it all up, and then they was able to take that and utilize it in a way that they can incarcerate black people in a massive amount of black people. Because you got to understand, during that time when they flipped it, turned it cocaine, they also, the prison industrial complex speeded up. Then they started arresting all this stuff was simultaneously. And then you get Hillary Clinton coming out saying we super predators, and then they brought out the Anti-Terrorist Act, which they piggybacked the crack laws and the 3 strikes on top of that. So this was all well thought out. These is once again United Snakes in the think tanks, and finding a way to disenfranchise and undermine, underestimate, and undervalue black people. We were just trying to survive during that time, and we were doing the very best we could to do that. Not to say that we necessarily wanted to do some of the things we did, but it worked out, and that's the way it happened. You know what I mean? But thank God we all made it through, and we all on the side, and now we all in the society doing well for ourselves. I talk to my 2 guys all the time, whether it's Twin, I tap in him, I tap in with Gangster, I call Mondo daily, you know what I mean? So those are guys that was just, part of that circle, you know what I mean? And once again, shout out to the G-Force. Y'all know who y'all are. Shout out to them, man, because y'all did that thing, man. A select elite few, they wore fatigues, and they operated like a military, so we got all that stuff, you know what I mean? Whether we patented off the Grandies was the first ones that did it, so we definitely took some notes from that circumstance and put it together to make us stronger, you know what I mean? Anytime you build something, You gotta look at what was first. And then you take what's first and then you build on that, you know what I mean? And you build it stronger and better and make it have endurance. But once again, Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Postman, you know the vibe. And shout out to my boy Gangsta, Baby Gangsta. Shout out to my boy Mondo. Shout out to my boy Twin. Shout out to my boy Bad Habit. Shout out to my boy, Rick Rock. Shout out to my boy Kibo. Shout out to my boy Juju. Shout out, rest in peace, Pete. Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace, Turtle. Shout out to Big Buzz, Count, Gangsta Cousin Rick Rock. Shout out to Big Rock. Shout out to Pep. Shout out to rest in peace, Jonesy. Rest in peace, Bootsy. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Ninja Being. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Magoo. Just rest in peace, Hub. Rest in peace, H&H. You know, them my guys right there. You know what I mean? I just got to shout them. Rest in peace, Celebrated. Rest in peace, Killer Raider. Rest in peace, Nut. Rest in peace, Killer Wayne. Rest in peace, Fat Daddy. Shout out to my boy Will. Shout out to my boy Andre Brown. Man, and shit. Shout out, rest in peace, Teddy, Roddy, Fred Benson. You know, just to name a few, man. There's just so many. My boy Bruno. My boy George, Gertch. Man, just shout out to all them, man. Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Post, man. You know the vibe. Once again, it's Wisdom Wednesday. Remember, if you play small, you'll stay small. That's just what that is, man. And you can be more, you can do more, you can have more, man. It's all about you. This right here. What's in the heart and what's in the mind, man. They work in concert. They do not work separately. Professor Melly Mill, the Hood Post. Man, before I go, click that goddamn notification bell, like, subscribe, and share, man. Y'all gonna make me stop doing these stories, man. And I really enjoy doing them, but I gotta do them in a way to where you guys can get some food from it, and at the same time get some positivity from it, but also not go too far in the negative side, you know, because all spaces are filled, whether positive and negative. So I just want to be more positive in this, and when I deliver it, I want you guys to understand, man. We come out of a mercurial mindset. It was something that happened all of a sudden, unpredictable, and something that you just couldn't see coming, you know, at the time. But once again, I'm out. To show you how that G-Force was, the G-Force is so elite and so select that even Pyrus recognized this. A lot of times when they came to bust on us, before they could even make it back to where they came from, we was right there on them. And they have witnesses, and they had told me this, man. I didn't know how y'all did that, but that's what y'all did. So I just want to put that out there, man. They recognize that G-Force.
Nigga, I'm from the land where we get it in. Freedom tennis down for the call, sitting in the can. Say you gon' get me when you see me, shit, it is what it is. Millie Rock gon' do it big. S-block to the kids, I'm all in. Nigga on the ass, it ain't no holding us. ITG, something like a stock, and keep on going up. Where you from, nigga, so what? Over here, you don't get no love. Parkside, we throw foes up. Nigga, I'm from the S-A-N, T-A-N-A, sucker side.